That was stupid, I know, but I just couldn't resist.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here, and I'm going to give you my quick season 1 review of The Mandalorian. And if you want the too long, didn't read, or didn't watch version, I loved it. I thought it was great. Certainly not perfect, but very good, and really kind of checked all the boxes that I would want to see in a Star Wars TV show, which I think a lot of people were maybe kind of skeptical about what that would ultimately look like in practice, but Disney really nailed it, I think, because of all the talent that was involved, all the effort that was involved, and an understanding of what this should look like in a TV format. So I'll sort of kick this off by saying that I think the finale, episode 8, which I think was titled Redemption, was amazing. Probably the best episode of the series so far. And there's only 8 episodes of this. It's released on a weekly format if you haven't been, or in a weekly format, I should say, if you haven't been keeping up with it. And I think it works really well in that regard, and reminds me in a lot of ways of something like Star Trek The Next Generation, where there is kind of an overarching main plot that has to do with, as you've likely seen on the internet, Baby Yoda, which is actually not Yoda, but one of Yoda's species, which apparently doesn't yet have a name, but trying to figure out what it is that the remnants of the Empire want with him. And so this is in a post-Return of the Jedi world that this exists in, and so they're trying to figure out, or the Mandalorian, the bounty hunter, is trying to figure out what the deal is with that. And so initially hired to track down and return Baby Yoda to an ex-Imperial officer for unknown reasons. He does find him, but decides as part of that journey that he really wants to protect this baby that's 50 years old, because, you know, in sort of Yoda's lifespan, as we see in the movies, he lives for 900 years or more. But he decides he wants to protect him, and so he fights for his survival, and we get some really good episodes out of that. Some of it, you know, does come across, I think, a little bit as filler, I guess would be the best word for it. But I think it ultimately does work. All of these do. Some of the side quests, to put it in video game terminology, that happen, whether it's going to sort of a backwater planet and helping a village that needs some assistance due to the fact that they're being constantly raided by external parties who have gotten their hands on some Imperial technology, such as an ATST, an all-terrain scout transport. But, you know, overall, it's got a really good arc to it, and it feels like the gritty, lived-in universe that Star Wars, in my opinion, should feel like. And that's one of the main issues I had with the prequels. And I get that with the prequels, they were going for sort of this pre-Empire aesthetic where everything was still kind of pristine and new and happy because of democracy and sort of the existence they had. And so, you know, I get that. But to me, Star Wars is a grimy, inhabited place, and this captures that really well. Everyone does a great job in terms of the principal actors who are in the main roles, including the Mandalorian, whose name is revealed in Chapter 8, and I can't remember exactly what it was now, but Pedro Pascal, the actor, does a great job with that. The supporting characters, including Carl Weathers, who is sort of the guild leader in the bounty hunter area, or the bounty hunter league, whatever you want to call it. He does a great job too, and so do all the other characters who sort of come into this. So even though this is a brief review, and I don't really want to spoil anything, especially if you haven't seen it yet, I would give season 1 a score of 9 out of 10. Again, I really enjoyed it. I look forward to it every week. And, you know, I was sort of browsing some comments on Twitter about the finale earlier, just to, you know, I always think it's fun to see what other people have to say about it. And I think some people hit the nail on the head in that Disney Plus has done the right thing in releasing this on a weekly, or in a weekly format. It kind of builds that anticipation and makes it sort of a fun event each week, every Friday, except for this past Wednesday it came out, presumably because of the release of Rise of Skywalker. But anyway, every Friday when an episode's released, it's like kind of a big deal. And sort of the Baby Yoda thing has dominated pop culture and social media as a result of kind of that extended release of the show, if you want to call it that. So I think outlets such as Netflix, you know, with properties like Stranger Things, etc., could probably take some lessons from this and maybe sort of string it out a little bit more to build interest and to build popularity and to get people to invest in it and enjoy it. So again, 9 out of 10 from me. I can't wait to see what they do in the future with this. it makes me excited for what Star Wars can be on the small screen. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot more of. I know there's already a Kenobi show in production that's going to have Ewan McGregor in it. Can't wait for that. That's going to be amazing, I'm sure. But I think, after sort of the slate of films we've gotten, the feature-length movies that have been released, all of which I've liked. There's a lot of, I think, polarizing things in those movies for some people, but I've liked them all. I think it's going to be good for Disney to focus on the show offerings that they can get out and sort of focus on and maybe have a little bit more flexibility with. So that's going to be a good thing. So if you haven't seen it, I think it's well worth getting Disney Plus, even if it's just for a month, just to watch this show, to binge watch it. You do get access to every other Star Wars movie as a result of having Disney Plus, as well as Marvel movies and Disney properties galore. But check it out. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll like it. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I think there's a lot to enjoy here. It's just a fun kind of episodic show that's structured really well. So if you've seen it, and if you've seen the finale, let me know what you think. I'd love to have some discussion about it. As always, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you again soon.